All right, it's basically Monday, episode 60. We are back. It has been a little while. I'm here with Valero and Gouda as usual. What is going on with you guys' lives since we last met like 3, 4 weeks ago?
Mm,
Any takers?
Nothing.
Anything noteworthy
Actually, you know what?
in
There's been
your?
something I've just been like wanting to mention on here. Um, like since I've been like taking like my electric scooter on this like lakefront trail, the trail goes right in front of like the Wisconsin FBI headquarters, and every single time I ride past there and ride back, which is like two times, maybe not a day, but like two times every other day. So it's been a lot. Every single time when I'm riding past like the parking, like if they have like a parking structure, you can't really see in there, and they have like the cement walls pretty high, but it's not completely enclosed, but they make it so you can't see in there. But there's like animal noises from like nothing I've ever heard here in Wisconsin or the Midwest or even America for that. Like yeah. So like I don't know what they have going on in there, but it's been like that for like I don't know, like at least a month now. Probably like 2 months about, yeah. So I swear, they've got some crazy jungle animals, like monkeys. Like I'm talking like monkeys, exotic parrots, like stuff like you would never, ever, ever hear in Wisconsin. Like, yeah. Oh, just want to put that out there. Like, yeah. Like, what
People
they
can
got
like
going on there?
walk their dogs on this trail.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, it's a busy trail. Yeah.
You never see any dogs like freaking out or anything like that.
You know what? Do I ever see people actually walking their dog? There's only a small stretch of the trail where I see people walking their dog, and I've never seen a dog walk past that section. Yeah, for some reason, yeah, I guess there's not, yeah, I haven't seen many dogs walking past that spot. It's usually
Are
just joggers and bikers.
are there birds in the area?
Yeah, yeah, there's like birds. It's like kind of forested around there too. So like I would expect to hear like some like birds, but like still, like I live here. Like
No, I just feel like the wildlife is always the first to notice if like something like truly treacherous or untoward is going on. They'll usually like leave right away.
the what?
The wildlife.
Oh, the wildlife. Oh, are there? Okay, so in that sense, are there birds nearby? Yeah, I mean, yeah, there actually are. I mean, like within like a block radius, there's still like wildlife. So yeah, I guess that's good to know. There's not like a Zerg abomination that they're like,
Exactly. And
yeah,
that's what I was worried about. Like if they're like spawning it in like in their basement, I want to get out of here.
yeah, yeah. No, I don't think so.
Like
But
it's
they
right
must
next to
just,
the water supply. What are they doing?
yeah, like literally right next to it too. Yeah, that'd be horrible. No, I don't think it's that. But it's definitely like they have like some monkeys or something in there. Like, yeah.
Hmm. Do you have a cat backpack?
No, I don't. That would be interesting to see if the cats act weird around it. It's
Mhm.
like you need an animal sensor to like recognize if something's wrong.
I mean, you too are an animal, and this seems like you think there's something wrong.
If someone put me in a backpack and was like strolling me past this thing, I would be looking at it like, what the fuck? And I do look at it like, what the fuck? But I try not to too much so I don't get like become a target. Like I've always wanted to take out my phone and just like videotape like what it sounds like, but I just figured like I'd for sure get put on a list.
You already are since you go past there so often.
Yeah, that's true. Just the regular bikers list, the people who walk past the FBI list.
Mhm.
Yeah, probably. I'm sure like they've hit me on so many facial recognition cameras and everything. It's probably a perfect testing ground for that stuff too.
Just like Vegas, which we talked about.
But
What about
yeah, that's fun.
what about you, Guido? Anything new?
No, can't say there is.
Just another day, huh?
That's right.
Another day, another dollar.
Very good. Yeah, well, it is somewhat my fault that we waited so long to do one of these again. I was out in Chicago for a few weeks helping my parents get their house fixed up, which was pretty fun. Um, and they're gonna be putting it on the market pretty soon, so that's good. Actually, there's something that happened when I was on the plane on the way there the second time. Um, I met this guy who was sitting next. This guy was sitting next to me. For some reason, the flight to Chicago from Minneapolis is like an hour. It's like an hour and 5 minutes. But that day there was like weird storms and they had something. They always have construction at the O'Hare Airport. So between those two things, the flight ended up taking like 3 hours because we were just circling in Chicago for like an hour and a half. And while we were circling, the uh, the pi- the pilot was like giving us updates about like why it was taking so long and that kind of stuff. And he said, this isn't actually the reason I brought this up, but I just remembered it. He said, how he gets on the intercom and he goes, yeah, so we're just circling around Chicago. They keep telling us that we can't land right away, so we're just circling. Probably should be about 30 minutes. They told us before we'll get clearance. And then he says, and we don't have much more fuel than that anyways. So, and then everyone like in my row just looked at each other like, did he just say we don't have that much fuel? And we were in the air for at least another hour. So so it was just
Just
a very
waiting to
like
drop out of the air.
yeah, like it was so weird. Like he was sharing, like I appreciate that he was sharing, but it was very the way he was sharing was as if we were people who were pilots and like he kind of overshared for what the position we were in. So, yeah, it was a little
Did
weird.
anyone did anyone start weeping?
No, but the two people next to the guy I was sitting next to, they both had their phones out trying to figure out like they could see on their phones like the flight plan and it just showed like our flight from Minneapolis to Chicago and then 1,000 circles because we just kept going around in circles. And my dad said the same thing when he picked me up. He was like, "Yeah, we just kept watching your plane go in circles over and over and over again." Yeah,
Yeah,
so that was
wow.
crazy. But yeah, anyway, I met this guy next that was sitting next to me because I was reading this book and he like was watching me read it and he started asking me about it. It's oh, I don't actually have it on my desk anymore. But it's called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. And he said he had heard of it before, so we started talking, and I don't know. It was kind of interesting because I don't normally talk to people out in the world. So um, he was just asking me about life and like he was telling me about his. It's like this. He kind of made me feel old because he's like 26, but he's probably the first person that's like um, an adult who's younger than us, who I've met, who I felt like, oh, you seem like somewhat reasonable. Like, I don't know, he just seemed not too. He seemed balanced. So I thought that was
How old did you
interesting.
say he was?
26.
Oh, I mean, yeah. Okay. I feel like yeah, I feel like once you're like mid 20s and over, I mean, I don't know. I feel like I'm the same, like pretty much more or less.
Maybe. I don't feel like I knew as much as I think he knows at 26, if I'm honest with myself. So yeah, it was just interesting. I don't know. I feel like it kind of restored my um,
Faith in humanity.
faith in people, not in humanity, but people.
You're like, nah, humans are doomed, but
Yeah,
some people are right.
humanity as a collective. I don't know about that, but yeah. So yeah, it was interesting. So yeah,
That is.
Is
Yeah,
that
yeah.
book also a documentary?
I don't think so. The book itself doesn't read. It's just a guy like talking about different things of about like not giving a fuck and like. So no, I don't think
Right.
so. But maybe I don't know. I'll have
Could
to
you
look.
look real quick?
Yeah, I can look. Um, hmm.
But when you brought up O'Hara, I thought you were gonna say
Oh,
something
movie.
else because um
Yeah, it is a documentary too.
okay, I saw that. I saw it actually, ironically enough, I watched it on the plane. So,
Out of
Oh,
O'Hare.
yeah, like when I was like flying
oh,
back into
and
O'Hare,
the same. Yeah,
I watched
the
it on the
author
plane.
is actually the guy who must
Yeah,
narrated
he was
that.
the one who
Interesting.
yeah, it
Okay.
was really yeah, that's a yeah, very
Wait,
good. Great
there's a
stuff.
documentary.
Yeah,
Wait, what was it about?
it's called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
And you were reading a book about that, or the guy was?
No, I was. That's the name of the book I was reading.
The author made it a book first, but then he
Yeah,
also decided to make it a movie because obviously when you have an important message, you have to make it
yeah. Multiple
can
mediums
yeah,
so that you can reach
yeah,
everybody.
yeah. Well, I'm glad he did.
Yeah, it's it.
Actually, I would be. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's a very good book. From what I've read so far, I'm probably 3/4 of the way through, and yeah, everything in
Mhm.
it was very good. A lot of it I feel like I probably already agreed with, but some of the ways that he put why certain things happen, I think, are important for people to read so that they can maybe recognize it about themselves. So yeah, I think it was pretty good.
I'm just gonna put it out there. I think 40% of the people that would need to read that book would not read that book or actually make it all the way through there. Which
Yep.
is why I'm saying I'm glad that he decided to make it a feature film. Very smart.
Yes, that is probably true. If you're someone who's already reading that book, you probably are past the point of like the people that he talks about in the book.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Someone needs to
Yeah.
spread the good
So
word to the people who wouldn't read it. Like,
yeah.
excuse me, sir, have you had a moment to think about our Lord and Savior not giving a fuck?
yeah,
Well, when you finish reading it, uh, I'd love to hear what you think if you could take the time to also watch the I call it a documentary, but I don't know what it
yeah.
actually called,
It's listed
but
as a documentary when I looked it up.
okay. Yeah, you should check it out and like let me know like if you see a difference between the two experiences and what that is.
Okay. Yeah, I'm probably just understanding my bias. I'll probably like the book more. Just more recently, I've noticed that books about things like that, I tend to enjoy the book more because I feel like it's hard to fit the amount of stuff in it. But I don't know. Maybe the documentary does a good job, so I don't want to prejudge it. But yes,
Mhm.
I will take the time to do that. I would be
I just say that because it was something that stuck with me
yeah
and
yeah. You knew right away what it was.
yeah. So,
All right.
yeah, interesting that also came across your world radar at some point eventually. Um, what do you usually like just choose to read a book when you're on your flight or
In the last 2 months, Danielle and I have both been reading a lot more. So now, when I'm on flights, so that I'm not just sort of doom scrolling, or yeah, I now take books with me.
do you guys go to the library or are you using something else?
We've just been ordering books, so like if I hear about a book on, or I hear about a certain author on a podcast, or something like that, then I'll based on that I'll get the book. So like, I just ordered two more that recently got here. One is like an it's not an economics book, but it's written by an economist named Thomas Sowell, and I want to start reading a lot more stuff from him. Um, and then the other one is called The Madness of Crowds. And the
Mhm.
guy who wrote that book was actually on a podcast that I listen to a lot.
So when it comes to getting your recommendations or things you're interested in when it comes to books, do you, are you saying it's mostly from hearing someone talk about it?
yeah, it's either mostly hearing from someone talk about the book itself, or like that they thought it was a good book, or it's from hearing the person who wrote the book talk about something else unrelated, and then they just might happen in passing to mention like, yeah, like you also have a book coming out. Like it might not be like the Madness of Crowds, the guy who wrote that. He wasn't there to promote the book. They brought it up at like the very end of the podcast. So
Hmm.
I listened to him talk for like 2.5 hours, and I was like, oh yeah, I think that that guy's pretty sensible. And then they're like, oh, yeah, and this book. So yeah. So right
Okay.
now, that's usually how I'm getting recommendations. But then Danielle, like, I didn't recommend the what's the not giving a fuck book. I didn't
Mhm.
recommend that one. Danielle actually found that. So I don't know how she finds her recommendations, but she's the one that brought that across um, our reading desk.
Interesting. Yeah, I like reading books, but I tend to get them finish them in like a day, and then it takes like another year or 2 years for like something to like come across my radar where I'm like, I really need to like sit down
Mm,
and read that. It's like the one type of media where I find it very difficult to find worthy or like actually good recommendations.
yeah, that's yeah, that makes sense.
So I'm just curious how you're finding success.
Yeah,
So maybe I can like start getting some more literature in my media diet again.
yeah, that's a good plan. That's it. The other thing too is like I read pretty slow, so I feel like a book that you could probably get through in a day might last me a couple weeks, just because I'll read like 10, 15 pages like before I go to bed or something, and then I'll pick it back up tomorrow. But then if I have time, like I'll sit down and read, like the Not Giving a Fuck book is only 210 pages, but I've had that
Mm-hmm.
book for like the last couple of weeks, and um, for some reason, yeah, I always have I use books basically to fill dead time. Like I never just sit down and like, all right, I'm gonna read now. You know what I mean? So that it just ends up lasting a lot longer than I think it would probably last you. It sounds like you're like, all right, I want to like get immersed in
Yeah.
this book, and then you're just like done.
Yeah, I can't do like the I can't do reading spurts. Like once I get in, I need to like get to a like natural breaking point, and
Mm,
most books these days don't give you that.
yep,
Um,
like a good Dragon
to this
Ball Z
point.
episode. You just gotta see the
Yeah.
next one.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll find myself like just thinking about like, oh, I wonder where that's gonna go next. And I'm like, it's just right there. Nothing's like stopping me. I can get the information whenever I want. So why would I stop?
Just keep going. Just keep
Yeah,
going.
so I just keep reading until it's too late.
Have you
What was the
Go ahead.
no, you can go.
I was going to ask you if you've ever heard of David Goggins.
I have.
So we recently, before the Not Giving a Fuck book, I read Can't Hurt Me by him. I think it was his first book,
Hmm.
which like, to me, that book was probably, personally, I think like, again, take this with a grain of salt because like I haven't read many books, but like so far of the books I've read, it's definitely like in my top two, I would say. Just his just like his story is very interesting to me. So I'm probably gonna read his other books.
Who?
His name is David Goggins. He's a retired Navy SEAL.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah, he
Does
had
he
a
also not give a fuck?
yeah. He's pretty much yeah yeah. Without ruining his story, I think he's probably the living embodiment of like I don't not I don't give a fuck, but like life's tough. Get the fuck over it. Like that's basically because his upbringing was just terrible. So yeah, if anyone's interested, books John recommends. The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck and Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. Two pretty good ones, I thought. And feel free, if you read them, to come back and tell us that they were trash.
I was just gonna be like, man, this
Yeah,
was
yeah,
garbage.
yeah. Turn the first 50 pages. Absolute garbage.
So what like genre of book is that considered?
It's probably considered self-help, if I had to guess. I don't think there's a better like category for it. I don't consider it self-help. I more consider it like uh, introspection or like self-evaluation. Like I think that's a better name for the category, but it gets lumped in with all the like. It's not like manifest your destiny, look in the mirror and say good things about it. Like that's not what those books are, and I think too often they get lumped in with those kind of books.
It's more like first person account. Like
Yeah, sure, yeah.
if someone was there when Kennedy was assassinated, they could write a book and be like, "I was there." It wouldn't really be self-help, but it's like,
Yeah.
So it's
yeah,
like a biblical accounting.
Uh,
it's
But just like not biblical.
what is it
It's like
called
this
when
amazing thing happened.
what is
All
that
must
thing?
know.
Yeah, what is that thing in the Bible? What is it called when you like go and like tell people about what happened to you?
uh, God. Yeah, I don't know.
Is that
You like you give a sermon, but it's like you're telling your something. What's the word?
Testimony?
Yeah, yeah. Is it?
testimony?
Yeah,
Yeah.
testimonies.
Yeah,
Yeah,
actually, it kind
Yeah.
of
there you
is.
go.
Yeah, testimony. That's a probably a better word for it. Yeah. And then
Biblical
based on that,
testimony.
like using that to be able to say like if I can do this and then applying those kind of principles to other things and saying like it generally works this way for everyone, so you probably will have better outcomes if you take this route.
Hmm,
So,
interesting.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna start a bookstore and I'm gonna have a section called "Sinful Testimonies,"
Sinful,
and then and then worldly testimonies,
worldly,
Holy
yes.
and then
testimony.
good testimonies. Parentheses biblical.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
yeah.
Biblical proportions.
Books, gotta read them.
Yeah, you do actually. What was the last good one you read, Valero?
He
I mean,
said
it
it.
doesn't have to
He
be
laughed
like
immediately.
I
Holy
guess not
shit.
like you read, but like the last long form story that you like took in. Because like the same way that book that he was reading, I like saw it, but it was a movie, so there could be something similar for you.
I think the last book I read was do audiobooks count?
Oh
Mm-hmm.
yeah, of course.
Okay, the last book then was a, a historical accounting of all of the political going-ons of Eve Online.
Oh, sinful testimony.
Yeah, sinful.
Yeah. Like it was filled with yeah, like
With sin.
outrageous, unbelievable like biblical miracles and everything. Like I was like, I guess that's
Wait,
true.
that's
Like
the game that has like one of the factions called like the Junk Rats or something like that, or like the Scum Lords or something like Goon Squad. Is it Goon
I'm
Squad?
like Goon Squad.
Okay, yeah,
I'm like, it's
yeah.
hilarious. You're not too far off. Like, yeah, like the whole point of their faction was that like they were bad people, and it was like, hey, we're all bad people. Like, let's stick together. And like that was their advertising line. It's like for assholes and like whatnot. And then they ended up being the strongest faction in the game. Yeah, it was pretty interesting. Like the game takes place from like 2002, and it's still going on today, and it's all like player run completely. So yeah, like I feel like it's just like a mini like Earth simulation. It's like Game of Thrones basically. Like it's all the same thing. Like if you like that kind of like crazy like political maneuvers, backstabbing, secession stories and power grabs, like yeah, that's surprisingly in the history of EVE Online. Yeah, I guess I would say that. I guess the other piece of long form like media is like any bit of history, something. In fact, just last night I was at my parents' house and we were watching the Curse of Oak Island. Have any of you guys heard of this?
Hmm.
No, no idea.
Apparently, there's like not apparently, like there is an island in Nova Scotia, which is like on the it's like right above Maine, basically. Like there's a part of Canada that just like straight up is like basically should be the United States, like right above Maine, but like somehow it's just not. So like no, then that's Nova Scotia or like Newfoundland, like that area. But like there's like a little island. It's like super small. Like the island is like half the size of like Brown Deer. Like it looks like. Like so like it's not a big island at all. But there's like a ton of like hints and historical evidence that there would be like a bunch of treasure there. And on top of that, what started this whole thing was that like in the year like 1795, someone landed on the island and came across this huge pit that went 250 feet down. Like it was just like this like 5 foot diameter pit that is just like went and like 250 feet is like really fucking far. And in the year 1795, like yeah, that was possible, but like that obviously takes like a lot of work to pull that off. But anyways, they went down there. And I guess when you go down like far enough, there's like a stone plaque saying that like there's treasure like ahead. And then if you go down further than that, you set off a booby trap, which like floods the whole thing with water. So that's what happened. Like it got flooded with water, and then like that person like probably died, and then like more people like came and found it like not too long after that, and they've apparently been trying to figure out how to disable the booby trap so they can get in there and find the treasure for the last 200 years. But everyone who has ever tried has either died trying or ran out of money. So so the show it's a reality show. So like they just follow like the new crew that's on the island and working on it currently. And the show started in 2013 and it's still going today and they still haven't gotten to the center of the pit where the money would be presumed to be. So yeah, it's that's kind of wild.
Why don't they use robots?
Yeah, honestly, like
Too
I
poor.
don't know. Well, the water is like super murky. Like you can't see like not even a millimeter in front of like the camera. Like when they put cameras down there, so maybe like they've like put like sonar, like they have it all mapped out like with sonar and stuff. But like most of it's collapsed. Like it's crazy. Like so apparently it there's when it was first built, there was like a tunnel that went to the shoreline of the island, and then it went all the way down straight to where the money was, and it was like a secret entrance or whatever, and you're supposed to enter through there probably, but instead the people found like the giant pit first, and it was probably a decoy, I'm guessing. I don't know, that's what it sounds like. And so like they did the decoy, and then it it set off the trap. And once the trap got set off and the whole thing got flooded with seawater, like that just pretty much like ruined. Like no one's ever getting in there for 200 years. Like it's just gonna be too difficult to drain out the water. Well, back then they didn't have electricity, so they couldn't drain it out. But now we have pumps, and they can pump it out. But by the time that happened, like the water, not only was there water in it, but it had started filling with dirt too. So it's just like you literally have to dig all this like mud and water. Yeah, it's a mess. So yeah, like they have like at this like in the first season of the show, it was like a barren island with like pretty much nothing on it. And like now, 10 years later, it's like an industrial zone. Like, did you guys see the first Thor movie?
Yeah, I did.
But like, do you remember when like his hammer gets thrown back to Earth and then Shield finds it or whatever, and they
Mm.
build this entire like industrial area around the hammer because they can't move it? That's what happened to this thing, to this pit. Like at first it was like completely like untamed nature, and now like the whole thing's cemented over. Like they literally built a garden around the pit because they spend so much time around it. They just wanted it to look nice. Like it's yeah, it's wild.
Like you've seen Apple's head HQ, right, John?
Uh, yeah.
It's like if I mean it's imagine something that grandiose, except the one in the movie was like more rectangular. If someone built a fancy
Yeah.
office like around a meteorite.
Yeah. Yeah, basically. That's hilarious. Dude, that's I forgot their office looks like this. This is just yeah, too much money. Too much money. But yeah, so that was I like it 'cause like it's got like a lot of like history. Like they spend a lot of the episodes just like the reason it's taking so long is because they have to get permits. Like they can't do anything without the permission. They can't yeah, they can barely do anything without the permission of the Canadian government. So like they've come a long way, but like it takes forever because there's every time they find something, they have to stop, they have to get another permit to even touch it. They have to call the archaeologist out. Now they just hired the archaeologist, so he's just there full time. But like, yeah, it's a very strenuous process it seems. But they spend a lot of the episode like kind of like researching clues on like what could be down there or who could have built it to begin with. And um like they know it's somewhere between um it was built between like when they first discovered the Americas in 1493 and 1795 when they found the pit to begin with. So that's like 300 years of history that we always keep like kind of revisiting in the show. And like it's a pretty interesting time like around that time. So I think that's also what was keeping me interested about it. Yeah, I guess I like a lot of history stuff.
I need to dig a pit. I've never just dug a hole. It seems like something important that every man should
You've never dug a
experience.
hole? Surely
No,
you've dug a hole.
no, never.
That can't be. Like you've used a shovel before, right? Like for dirt?
Yeah, but no, just for snow.
You've never dug like a hole for like a plant?
No, no,
So do you ever remember like having a shovel and like pressing your foot like on the top of the
no. I've
shovel to get
never
into
broke
dirt?
ground with the blade of a shovel. No,
That's
that
insane, dude. Holy shit. You've never broke ground with a
the most
shovel?
I've done is like put a divot in a golf course.
Yeah, I mean,
Holy
to be
shit.
fair, why would you need to?
Yeah, I
I don't
haven't.
even know. Like you always there's always something you have to like cover with dirt or like shovel out or
Nah, man. Nah,
Yeah,
man. No
why would you need
shuffling
to?
over here.
Yeah, why would you need to do that?
But yeah, I just want to make like if you just make a huge pit in the middle of nowhere and then like put something metal at the bottom of it and then cover it with cement. Now you've like created like intrigue and like mystery for a
for
bunch
who
of
knows how
people
long.
300 years down the line.
Yeah, I feel like how did they booby like just to think that someone was able to make something back before 1795 that would be so hard to get into that they're still trying 200 years later, over 200 years. Like like how is it this hard? Like we can go faster than the speed of sound. Like we can talk to someone on the other side of the world instantaneously. Like we can like basically erase a mountain off the side of the earth with like like
Yeah.
atomic weapons. But like we can't get into this fucking trap that they built like in the Stone Age. Like I mean that's not the Stone Age, not even close. But still, like compared to where we're at today, it feels like the Stone
Maybe
Age.
it's imbued with unholy magic.
Yeah, and that's what they say all the time, hence the name The Curse of Oak Island. Which every time they say that, I just shake my head like, no, no, that it can't be. It can't be. Yeah, and they keep repeating this thing. Just like, and legend has it. Like so far they know of like six people who have died like in the mines or like not in the mines, in the shaft trying to like get the treasure. And every episode, there's like, legend has it, a seventh has to die before the treasure can be revealed. Like, it's just so stupid. Like,
So
uh,
if you like went there with an excursion of 7 people and like you found it, like you all like touched it with your own hands, like you would have to murder someone right there on the spot to take it out of there and not be like cursed.
probably. Yeah, legend has it.
Do you
That's
believe in
right.
that versus either of you?
No, no.
Not curses in the supernatural sense, but there might be something like maybe someone built something down there where it needs a certain amount of like blood or something like that.
Like a
How
fucking
did they have
salt
a
trap?
blood detector like
Yeah.
back in 1795?
No, it's just like the very first toilet. It's like, well, once this bobber like
Yeah.
gets up to this level, then
Yeah, it
then
could
the door open.
yeah, it could be something where like there's no rocks or anything that you can take out of there because like the actual chamber is so small, so you can only fit people in there, right? And then it requires an exact amount of weight that's like equal to an adult, like an adult person, and you wouldn't be able to carry anything down there. And like it has to hit certain pressure points. Like yeah, that it could they could have built something like that a couple hundred
That's
years
so
ago.
crazy.
Because then
That
what
is
would you do? Like you couldn't just put rocks there because it wouldn't weigh enough, and then which means someone's got to stay. So you're fucked.
has to say, like, you just have to bring down something that weighs exactly the same amount as a person.
No, you can't.
No, no,
It's
because it's
gonna be the
gotta
exact
no,
weight.
because no, because it's gotta be spread across. Like what? Like you couldn't have like one solid dense thing that you could carry in there. Because if it's big, it wouldn't fit through the doorway, and if it's small, it wouldn't touch all the pressure points. So yeah, only a person's gonna work there. Sorry. And it's got a little sign above it that says "Sorry."
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I can definitely imagine someone from like an older time building something like that for sure.
That's wild. Yeah, like, it's just like, what? Like, do you know how hard it is to build a 5 foot diameter hole 250 feet below the earth? Like that's like, to put that into context, the tallest building in Milwaukee is about that high. Like, I think it might be a little bit less than that actually.
Maybe it wasn't that deep when it was built.
No, it was, because that's where the stone engraving, like, the stone engraving is like not too far, like, from the very bottom of it. Like, you have to get super super deep before you find like the stone that says,
Nah, man, the
like, there's
stone,
treasure here
the
just
stone,
beyond.
the stone was just the warning from the first group of people who lost their first crew. There was like, I mean, you can try it if you want to. There's probably treasure down there, but someone's got to die.
They put the engraving in like this weird like tic-tac-toe like symbol, and like it had to be like decoded and like whatnot. And they decoded it to, down below lies 2 million pounds. And then, yeah, so they've taken the stone out.
we
They
had
got the stone
they
out of
had pounds, but the person couldn't write in English.
yeah, like, clearly, yeah, they had British pounds, so
They were
like,
like, "Ha, great! The British pound is the treasure we seek. Let's make sure we chicken scratch that into this rock." Like,
in a
what?
weird like tic-tac-toe code. Yeah, I don't know. The whole thing's so weird. Yeah, it's super weird. But basically, yeah, they have like the tunnel, and then at the bottom of the tunnel, there's another tunnel that lets in water from the ocean to flood the main pit.
What
And then
if
also there's another tunnel that was an entrance, a secret entrance from the ocean, like,
what if this is just a
that
big
somehow
prank?
wasn't filled with
What if this is
water.
just a big prank?
And that it could be, there could be literally nothing in there.
Yeah.
Like this, like, but like,
What
how?
if
How
the
can it be a
what if
prank?
the end
Like, do you
chamber
know
is
how
just an
hard it
old
is?
man that just like is crinkled up and dead, and the caption on his forehead it says, "Don't chase treasure or you'll die old and wrinkly," and that's it.
Like, it would have taken like at least a crew of like 10 people, like, God, like untold amount of 250 feet. And then on top of that, it's not just the pit. Like they have the water duct that goes all the way from the bottom to. Actually, no, the water duct doesn't go all the way to the bottom. Actually, the water duct goes like nearly to the top. Like not, it's like it goes like over halfway to the top because it fills up with water that way. But they do have was a tunnel that was never filled with water that went all the way 250 feet down, but it went all the way to the shore, which is like that's just like so hard. Like to do all of that, like I would expect that to be like an incredible, immense, like coordinated, like effort by like a massive government essentially. Like you can't just you can't just dig 250 feet down in the ground with a shovel.
What if it was like a generational endeavor?
Honestly, it seems like maybe there could have been like a family that did it generation over generation. I mean, they discovered America in 1490 something, so that gives them all of the 1500s and then all of the 1600s and all of the so that's 300 years between where they could have potentially found the island and started doing something and the time where the first person stumbled across the pit and started telling other people about it. So yeah, I guess so. Yeah, it could be like a generation after generation thing. That could
Like
be
you just
possible.
bought a plot of land and then like tasked your family for that everyone that at least someone has to go there every weekend and dig for like I don't know, like 30 minutes. Man, like I don't know, after 100 generations, you'd be pretty far, right?
Yeah, yeah, you would make it. After like three generations and like yeah, 100 years, you would make it to the bottom. You would be able to dig that far. I feel like you could probably dig like I don't know, like 6 feet a day, maybe. So yeah, I mean, I guess if you could do that, but like they had to have like wood and stuff to like support the tunnel. Actually, they supported it with rocks, but the underground entrance was supported with wood. I don't know. That's just like so much work. Like, don't you have to like worry about surviving around that time? Like, how do you have free time on the weekends to dig a tunnel? Like, the bears are gonna rip you apart. Like, there's like Indians who are like waiting to like sacrifice you to the gods or Native
Oh well,
Americans or whatever.
every seventh person that comes, you brutally kill them and then leave their body so everyone can see. And
And
then
then
that's how the
squeeze out
legend
their
starts.
blood and burn it upon the sacrificial altar inside the chamber, the inner chambers. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I guess. That's pretty wild, man. Yeah, what if there's just nothing down there? Like you did all that, but you had no treasure to actually hide. You're just like, I'm gonna make the most elaborate trap, but I have nothing to put it in, but it'll be cool.
The treasure was the journey.
People died.
Yeah.
Like one of the like four of the people was like an entire family that was down there.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you shouldn't take your family on such
Yeah.
silly quests.
Yeah, it was like a dude, his dad, like and like two of his uncles or something like that, or maybe like his brothers or something.
Yeah, that sounds
And
like a
like
mistake.
yeah, in the 1800s, like after this one company gave up on trying to do it, they came across the island and they decided to move their family there just so they can spend all their time trying to figure out how to get to the treasure. And yeah, and then four of them died when like the tunnel collapsed while they were down there.
Yeah, I really don't understand people who go into caves,
I mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
that seems insane. Holy
even
crap.
for treasure. I don't get it.
Like you don't know what's down there. Well, I guess they thought 2 million pounds is down there.
Still.
Aren't most caves filled with so much of bat shit that like if you like take one deep breath, you'll instantly like have rabies or something?
phosphorus rabies poisoning.
I don't think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never. I think I've been in a cave before on a field trip, but it was like a tourist cave that was like completely lit and
Uh,
like there were no animals in it whatsoever.
it didn't even smell weird.
Not that I remember, no. Like if anything, it maybe smelled like a basement or something.
Oh, dude, they made that with dynamite. That wasn't a real cave.
Yeah, I used to listen to stories of people getting stuck in caves.
Oh,
That sounds like a horrible way to
oh
go.
God.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it sounded some of the stories sounded like it.
Yeah, you would never catch me down there unless someone put me down there against my will. Like, oh yeah, we found his body deep in a cave. He must have been
Yeah,
cave diving or exploring. Like, no, that wasn't me.
yeah.
Like,
One
I
of the
got murdered
people,
for sure.
one of the people got stuck in such a bad place that like they never even recovered the body. They just blew up the entrance of the cave and so that no one else could go in there. Like
There's like we
he
can't
he
even
got
get
he
that.
got in there and then like head first and like because it just got narrower and narrower. I think it's called
Oh God.
he just got stuck there and he died from just being upside down.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that
I think
story.
that's one of the
That guy.
most famous ones. I forgot the name of the cave,
And
but
like three more people died trying to go save that guy, and then after that happened, that's when they blew it up and it's like, Fuck it.
I
Like,
don't know if those people
this is
died. But
now
yeah,
a
yeah, basically
suicide
they
cave.
couldn't. Yeah, they basically
This is
couldn't do
right
it.
about it.
Yeah, they
It
basically
was
couldn't
just
do it.
too
And they were just
dangerous.
like, yeah, they were like, he's clearly already dead. He's been in there for too long now. So
There's like, well, he's already technically buried. Let's just finish the job.
yep,
Like he was in the ground. Like his feet were just sticking out.
yeah,
Wait, did you say this was a cave diver or someone who fell in a pit?
neither.
No, he
Just
was a
like
cave diver.
back in the day, caves weren't nearly as regulated as they are now. So you could just walk into caves like before this, like when this happened. So any random person could go in and just like explore as much as they wanted to, no matter how dangerous it was. Now, obviously, they have much
Caves
more.
are regulated?
Yeah, they are now. Yep.
No fucking way.
hmm
I never would have thought
You
that. I
have to
would
get
assume you can
like
still just walk into any old cave and just
I
like
mean, if you
get
find
yourself
one that
killed
people
if you
don't know
want.
about, but the ones that are well known and like they know that there's danger, you have to get special permission to even go in there.
Like, is there like a gate or like a
Prob
dude at the outside like checking IDs or some shit? Like,
it's probably just yeah, it's probably sectioned off. I would assume.
yeah,
A
because
cave
then
warden.
Yeah, cave warden.
He's just like, can't let you do that.
Because some of them have like water in them, and like you'd need like special equipment to even get into it anyway,
that's
and
crazy.
like years of like actual caving experience.
It's like, why can't I go in there? It's just nature. It's like you'll die. It's like so.
Yeah.
But people do that.
Yeah, they're like, sir, we can't have you on the news like the last guy.
I saw a guy uh jump off a cliff with a carpet.
What do you think was gonna happen?
He survived. It went
What?
splendidly. Yeah. He used it like a wingsuit. It was incredible. Yeah, it worked. I know, right? Like he had a parachute on, so he was like ready for it to not work. And that's how he landed. Like he pulled his parachute eventually. But he flew like super far. Like he was flying like it was a wingsuit. And it was just a rolled up carpet. Like what he did is like he rolled out most of it, but then like 25% of it was still rolled up. So like it gave you like the weight in the front you needed. It was a big carpet too. Like it was a massive like like what do they call those like super nice carpets?
A
I
rug?
forget. Oh, like the super nice like oriental like from like Turkmenistan or some
See,
shit.
like that
Like
that
A
makes me feel
Persian?
like yeah, that makes me feel like that person doesn't have enough responsibility in their life. Like that just sounds like you're bored. Like you're fucking jumping off of roofs with a rug. Like what are you doing?
I know, like he did not care. Like he's like, dude, check this out. He's like, videotape me when I jump off this cliff with a rug.
I swear we did all this stuff, and I get it. Some people were just naturally inclined to adrenaline. That's fine, but I just feel like we did all this stuff in society to make it so that you don't have to kill yourself around every turn. And then people are like, all right, but if I wanted to kill myself, how could I do it? Like All right, I
Just make
guess.
Okay,
it
well, I
look.
can't go in caves, but I can still jump off planes, right? It's like,
Yeah.
I guess.
Like, why make it look so stupid? Like a rug? Like
Yeah.
that just it's
Yeah,
just
it's
like
one thing
not
to jump
smart.
and yeah, it's one thing to jump and just like with a parachute for the adrenaline. Like if you jump out of a plane, like you go skydiving, okay, I understand that. But yeah, off of a building, like one bad gust of wind and you're dead.
No, it wasn't a building. It was a massive cliff. Like it was like the tallest cliff I could. Like when
Yeah,
I saw it,
that's
it was
worse.
like so tall I couldn't even imagine. Like I was like, holy shit.
Yeah,
And
that's
this
even
isn't
worse.
AI. Are you sure?
No, I'm pretty sure it was real. I don't think AI is that good yet. It looked pretty real. Like
Right.
for it to work, he had to even like tie like his feet to the bottom of the carpet so he can like help steer it more. And like he had like
Dude,
little like pull strings that he could have tried to maybe pull to get his feet loose if it went wrong. But like I was thinking like if it went wrong, like you're attached to this super thick like carpets are heavy as fuck, and that carpet looked like definitely big and heavy. Like, and your feet are stuck to it, and like you're trying to struggle and like get your parachute pulled before it's too late, while your feet are stuck to a carpet or some shit. But like,
I mean, at that
yeah,
point, you might as well go cave diving. Like,
yeah, I guess.
right, like literally, like you just don't even
Land right
care.
in the cave.
And then
yeah.
on top of that, when you die, you get to be dead with a carpet, and everyone saw it because it was on video.
So this dude was like literally trying to like Super Mario World balloon like float.
Yeah, and it worked.
That's
And
ridiculous.
it fucking worked. Yeah, so if you ever need to jump off a cliff in a hurry, just get a carpet, roll it up, like unroll it 25% of the way so you're holding the roll top, tie your feet to the bottom and just jump right fucking off. You'll be fine. Oh, and then have a parachute, of course. Like,
But use that last.
yeah, but use that last. You can get way further if you use it last.
Jesus.
Hilarious. People.
Yeah, that's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, no regard for life.
Yeah, what a world.
Yeah, actually, right in front of one of our clients' buildings, there was like a massive car accident from these like two kids who stole a minivan and were like uh, going down this like street at like 120 miles an hour or some shit. And then they accidentally like slammed on the brakes when they saw this lady coming and they were going just like way too fast. And like as soon as they touched the brakes, the van just started skidding out of control. And then they hit the lady who was driving to work like dead on. They hit her so hard that immediately the van just like blew up in a fireball. It blew up so hard that the engine fell out and the engine was just in a complete fireball skidding like down the street like without the car. Like the car had stopped already and the engine was like still going like a block down the street, like a half a block down the street. And like the lady died immediately on impact. And like the two idiots like who stole the car, like they somehow were able to like get out and like run away. I don't know how, like they had to have been hurt, but like yeah, just more disregard for
Wait,
life.
actually ran away? They caught them, right?
No, they actually got away. They never found them. At least not yet.
Yeah, they gotta be hurt though, right?
They gotta be someone like got fucked up. Like there's like it was amazing that they were able to run away. The engine of the car they were driving wasn't
Yeah,
in the
it was.
car anymore. It was far away from the car. Like the
Yeah,
engine
it,
like made it way further in the direction of their destination than they actually did. Like way further. Like I've never seen something like that. Like yeah, and it got caught on like multiple cameras uh like it got our clients' cameras caught it, other people's cameras caught it, and like they sent it to the news. So yeah, that's how I saw it all. But yeah, it was incredible. Like the moment like the cars touched, it was just a massive fireball, and then the engine started detaching from the car and just skidding across the road in this huge fireball.
I can't believe people actually have to go and clean that up. And they're just like, oh, all right.
Sounds like Chirac.
Yeah, it's like ridiculous. And
No,
I
that's
guess
way
like
like I
yeah,
was gonna say. I feel like all due respect, like I feel like a body that's been shot is a lot easier than like a body that's like smashed between metal and like gasoline
oh,
and has been
It's
it's just
only
like
it's
caught on
only
fire.
harder. It's only harder because we make a big deal out of recovering bodies to identify them. But honestly, at that point, if the person's dead, I feel like you should probably just take some like DNA and some like their body itself is not identifiable probably at that point. It's like you're gonna have a family member come and like be like, yeah, that's my charred mother or aunt.
Jesus
Like,
Christ.
there's no way, right? So like, yeah,
No, yeah, I'm saying the person that's their job to go and like deal with that. I can't imagine like
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
how
I
do
don't.
you
Why is that even a job? I don't get it.
Someone's got to
you can't
do it.
just leave it on the street.
No, you should just be able to pick up the entire pile and just move it all together. Like, why are we separating the
Yeah,
body at that
actually.
point? Like, it doesn't make a
I
whole
feel
lot of
like that would
sense.
be a great job for AI to replace. Like get a robot like cleanup machine and just have it like take it away.
Take it away.
Oh, God. Yeah, yeah.
He just looks at the streets like, ugh, take it away.
Get out of
You know, but then again, I feel like that would probably minimize like the death. Like maybe like I'm sure the family like well they don't probably want like their person to look like that, but they probably don't want it to be swept under the rug either. Like they want they
You
want
gotta
the community
you
to
gotta
be
pick a
impacted
lane.
as well.
You
So
got you
like
got to pick a lane. You can't have both. You can't say
that
I
is
want people to
true.
care about this, but only up to the point where we're not going to make it a spectacle. The
Yeah,
moment you,
respect my
yeah,
privacy, but everyone should know.
yeah, it's already a spectacle. Did you see what just happened?
Yeah, that is true.
It can't be both.
still. Man, fuck. I hope they got a bonus. Probably
Something.
not.
Yeah, that's wild. People just coming out here and
And it
killing.
was at 7 a.m. I thought like by 7 a.m. that's when like the criminals are probably in bed by then. Like that's pretty late. But obviously these guys were literally out on the street going 120 miles an hour at 7
A job's a
And
job.
they just got freaked out by someone driving on the other side of the street.
a.m. Yeah, that's
That's
No,
probably
they
because they don't know
no,
how
they
to
just
fucking
yeah, I was
drive.
gonna
They
say they
don't even
probably
have a
just weren't
license.
good drivers.
But right, yeah, they should have just kept going. Like it was a straight street. Like there was no one in their lane. The street was empty except for the lady driving on the other side of the street. Like all they had to do was just simply drive straight. That's it. But like they touched the brakes, and when you're going 120 in a fucking shitty minivan, like it immediately just started skidding out of control. So stupid, dude. Yeah, just so stupid. And I'm sure even if they did get caught, they would probably just spend like a night in jail and just like get let out or whatever. Because that's what happens
Why are
apparently
you
a
even
lot.
doing this? There is no reason a minivan needs to go 120 miles per hour. Like that thing should be limited at 90.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Man,
Like, why'd they even steal it? Like, it's just, yeah.
just
Like,
just
I don't
part must
understand,
be just parts.
so are they gonna go to their friends and like brag about the experience or something? Like, or do you think they learned their lesson and they won't like do that anymore because like one, they almost died, and two, they literally killed someone else, like an innocent person? Or
I'm
do you
sure for
think
them that just makes it like a more exciting story or experience.
that's insane? It was like, hey, dude, are you coming out with us like next weekend? Like last weekend, we almost like got ourselves killed. That was fucking crazy, man. It's like, yeah, my leg still has sore from that, man. Yeah, that's crazy. It's like, didn't that lady die? Yep. Ha ha. Like, no, there's no way. Like that can't be. Like that sounds so horrible. Like, oh
It'd be
yeah, it be. There's like, why don't you care about your life or others? Cause nobody cares about mine. It's like,
yeah. What?
fuck. It's just,
I want to see the compilation of every time someone has said that in a scene in a movie or like in an interview. That movie would probably be 5 hours long.
yeah, yep. That's the reason. Like 99% of the time. Like, how do you fix that? I don't know,
Hmm.
You hire robots to come and be like, "Hey, I care about you."
but
You just make sure it's there every single day.
yeah, actually, that might that's better than nothing.
I don't know. I don't know if that's better.
I mean, as long as the robot isn't encouraging you to do like bad stuff. If it's like, hey, like you could kill someone if you're going this fast, you know, like I don't know. Yeah, they would just shut that thing off immediately. Like, ha, bitch, like mute, and then like immediately get into a car accident and die.
Yeah, you just need to go to jail. Straight to jail.
Yeah, but we don't even do that apparently. Like, I think maybe I'm not sure why, but like for some reason, like for car thefts and like stuff like this, we just like let them out. Like here in Milwaukee, I'm not sure why, but yeah, that's a major problem. Like I watched a YouTube video of like this one guy who interviews like criminals around the world and stuff, and he was interviewing the ones here in Milwaukee, and they were saying like how it didn't matter even if like they got caught, like they would be out like within a day or two with like minimal charges, and like sometimes not even a felony, like it would just be like a misdemeanor or something. It's like holy shit! Like so you like maybe pay like a $500 fine, and you stole someone's like livelihood and just wrecked it into a ball. Like that's insane. Like and like there's like okay, like you're free to go. Like come in here, like we'll take your fingerprints. Uh, you'll have to stay the night in the jail while we get you processed, but you'll be free to go tomorrow as long as you post like a $5,000 bail. Like that's just insane. Like you literally, yeah, you were like terrorizing the community, and it's like, yeah, you're fine. Go ahead.
Yeah, cities I feel like are typically pretty soft on crime in general. It's kind of weird. There's only a few like places that I know of where they're like, "Yep, better not do anything there because you'll be dead." And that's
You'll be dead.
like Texas, maybe Florida. Everywhere else that has like major cities, I feel like all you ever hear is how like people get away with crime all the time.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
Like especially California.
it's very weird.
Like you can't get arrested until you steal
Yeah.
$1,000 worth of merchandise. Like
Yeah. Did I tell you all about that mayor in that I must have. I feel like I did. That mayor in Illinois who's spending all that money,
I
like
don't
all those
remember.
taxpayer dollars. Dude,
No,
dude, she calls herself the super mayor. Tiffany
super
Tiffany Henyard. Yeah, so
interesting.
basically she got voted in, and basically another good reason why you should vote in your local elections. um, the county that she runs is called Dalton, and they they only have like 20 or 30,000 people. I don't know how many people, but basically only like 10% of the people voted. So she won with like 2,000 votes or
Oh
whatever.
my god.
She was supposed to be like the people's mayor, and she's asking all these questions. And to be honest, people voted for her because she was black. And then she just started making the city her personal playground. Like she put a lot of officers on payroll for her personal security. She started giving them overtime, like when they're not actually eligible for overtime. She stopped paying vendors, and then like she just go on trips and shopping sprees and stuff. So like they they actually hired the old mayor of Chicago, Lori Lightfoot, who is actually a terrible mayor, but they hired her to do like an investigation on the finances, um, and they found out that she spent in one day, she spent $40,000 on Amazon, like on Amazon.
Dude, have I heard about this? I think I heard about this not from you, but just like in general.
Yeah,
Is
but
she
it
still
was
getting investigated now?
yeah, cause like basically she's still the mayor, and the city of like the township of Dalton is new to this. Like they don't know how to actually appropriately get rid of her.
Yeah.
So they filed paperwork to dismiss her, but then they did it incorrectly, so she's still the mayor. And she had the locks that changed at like their town hall or whatever, where you have to file all the paperwork to be able to do it. So like she just basically gamed the whole system, and then like all the checks and balances that were in place to actually make it so that people couldn't do this, she just completely skipped over them. So clearly she knows people that have allowed her to do this with her. It's not just her.
So yeah, so what do you do about that? Like, at what point can someone's
Lar-
dictated like authoritarian rule over a city end? Like,
So basically, the
who can stop
FBI,
her?
yeah, the FBI is getting involved now. So like basically, a federal government, a federal like power has to get involved. So like one of her closest allies is now getting uh, indicted, I think, uh, by the FBI. So they're going after her people so that they can get to her.
Like, but for what law?
So he has a bunch of basically they got him on fraud. He like he he on his tax returns has been saying that he only makes a certain amount of money, which is way less than what he actually
Okay,
makes. He also acted as if
typical.
him and his wife weren't making money together because they were separated, but he still lived in the house. So like a lot of just people who commit crimes like this are usually pretty sloppy. So yeah, they just they just collected enough on him, and yeah, so they're coming after him.
Yeah, I heard this and I was like, and I guess like they're arguing that like they never did anything illegal. Like, if anything, it was just like bad management of the city's funds, but like
Nah, it's
there
pretty.
was nothing illegal about it.
That
Not.
is illegal.
Like,
Yeah,
it's not illegal to be dumb or a bad
yeah.
mayor.
Well, she
That's what they're
also,
saying.
but she also locked out like the trustees who were supposed to be able to like approve the finances. She locked them out of the system that they use to be able to see the finances. So like parts of the things she's doing are definitely illegal. If the FBI continues this, she's definitely going to go to prison. I'm just
Like, I'm
curious,
sure
like
they'll
what.
find something.
Yeah, I'm just curious what this like what her end goal is. Like surely she doesn't think she can do this forever.
Apparently, she did.
Yeah, it's
She's like,
weird.
I am the government. Like, I
Yeah,
am the Senate.
yeah. Have you on that note, I actually found out about her from this guy who does like scams in the black community. Like that's his whole channel. His name he does his name is Jason Thornton. His channel is Pocket Watching with JT. So if you ever want a good laugh about how like crazy black scammers are and how they're scamming the black community. It's a good channel to watch, but it's insane some of the things people do. But anyway, that's how I found out about her. And one of the one of the like be right back screens he uses is this commercial from this business, and I actually had to look it up. This is a real business. It's called Mo Money Taxes.
Mo
And
money.
they advertise like their commercial is everything you'd think would be a caricature of black culture. Like it's crazy. They were sitting there like asking black people like you just have to watch the commercial. It's actually insane. But yeah, like they were asking people like, "Hey, what do you think of Mo Money taxes?" And they're just like, "Mo taxes? I'm getting my taxes right away. Mo money? This is like this is legit." And like this guy is all of a sudden this random white guy shows up, and he's like, "We got that." Like he starts making all these fucking random ass noises, and like
What?
they cut from that commercial to a scene from like the news, and it's like now under investigation, Mo Money taxes, and it's just like, yeah, of course. Like who,
Under
like how could you
investigation.
possibly have trusted? So I don't know. I don't understand how people make. Well, I do. They people. It's just interesting to see that people make their financial and political decisions too based on like people they feel close to. Like I've noticed in the black community a lot they do that. Like they'd rather like find the guy on the corner who can like get them the biggest refund than just go to a normal tax preparer. Especially when they only have like W-2s. Like you made $20,000 last year, there's no way you're gonna get like a $10,000 refund. Like you can't think that's legal.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so it's just a wild world out there. Was my point. But yeah,
It's like,
Tiffany
yeah,
Henyard.
here at Mo Money Taxes, it's easy. All you do, like, you see how it says you only make 30,000 a year? You just have to add another zero. See, like, we take care of you here at Mo Money Taxes.
Yeah, yeah. Here at Mo Money Taxes.
It's like,
Yeah.
see how much you're eligible for? You just have to add a zero or take away a zero. Oh, I don't know how it works, but like that's how I imagine like how stupid they were with it.
Yeah, they're like advertising giving people's tax return back in 24 hours. Like, and if you've ever done taxes, you know that that's not how it works.
No, you can't do that.
Like, never.
There's like join up, sign up for our PPP loans. I mean,
Oh, yeah. Feds raid Mo Money Taxes headquarters.
god damn, they got raided.
Like, holy shit. Yeah. But
Uh,
anyway, the world's a crazy place, I guess, is what I was trying to say. But I think we're going to end it there. Um, yeah, be
for
careful
sure.
out there. Make sure you read some books. Don't go 200 feet into the ground for any buried treasure. It's just not worth it.
No.
And like, if you're gonna steal a car, at least like drive the speed limit so you don't look like a criminal immediately. Yeah. So
Yeah.
those are the things I learned from today's episode. Thanks,
Yeah,
everybody.
always learn something.
All right.